You're tired, not just in your body, in your soul. Tired of waking up and feeling like life is just another round of surviving. The bills pile up, the phone never stops buzzing, and you keep pushing, but deep down you know you're not really steering the ship. You're just bracing for the next wave. Most men I talk to don't need another pep talk about working harder. They don't need rise and grind slogans slapped on top of their exhaustion. What they need is a compass, a way to stand their ground when life feels like it's pulling them apart from every angle. Not hype, not empty quotes, a framework that actually holds when the pressure hits. And here's the hard truth. Most of us are on autopilot. We think we're choosing, but really we're just reacting to the boss's moods, to family stress, to whatever pops up on our screens. The world throws a wave and we bend without even noticing. Then months later, we look back and realize we've drifted far from the man we said we wanted to be. That's where Stoicism comes in. Not the polished version you see on Instagram, the raw version. The kind men like Marcus Aurelius leaned on when Rome was burning, when betrayal was at his door, when everything he cared about was at risk. They weren't writing theory, they were writing survival notes, lessons for living one day at a time with strength. So I want to share 12 rules, not rules meant to cage you, but rules meant to guard you. Like railings on a dark, slippery road, they don't stop the storm, but they keep you from tumbling off the edge. And every man I know needs that, because the storms don't wait until you're ready. They come when you're weak, tired, distracted, and if you don't have principles set, the storm decides for you. These rules aren't about being perfect, they're about being present, about becoming a man who doesn't need applause to feel steady and doesn't break apart under criticism. A man who carries himself the same whether the world cheers, mocks, or stays silent. That kind of stability isn't gifted. It's built, choice by choice, day by day. Think about it. What if you could face the noise and not flinch? What if you could stop dragging the weight of every opinion behind you? What if you could walk into your day knowing exactly how to respond, not just react, no matter what comes? That's the kind of strength Stoicism offers, not strength that shows off, but strength that endures. Because one steady day turns into a steady week stacks into a steady month, and that's how a man rebuilds himself, not by waiting for some miracle or big dramatic change, but by stringing together days he can actually stand behind. That's the journey we're on here, 12 Stoic rules for living your best day every day.
The Stoics knew that true power doesn't come from dominating situations, but from mastering the self that meets them. It's not about building walls so high nothing gets in. It's about standing in the open, letting life come as it will, and remaining unshaken because you've anchored yourself to what can't be taken. That's not theory for bookshelves. It's a way of living that changes how you walk through every single day. 1. Distraction. Distraction is the new chain. Look around. Men today live like they're owned by their screens. Every ping, every scroll, every endless feed pulling them away from their own life. The Stoics would call that slavery. Freedom isn't about having no chains on your hands, it's about breaking the ones on your mind. You win here by cutting out what weakens you and choosing where your focus goes, because a distracted man can't be a present man. 2. Anger. Beat distraction and another enemy steps in. Anger. Seneca called anger temporary madness. He was right. Every time you explode, you lose control of yourself and give power to whatever triggered you. You think you're strong when you shout, but the truth is that's weakness talking. The man who can carry pain without whining and carry anger without lashing out is the one who cannot be broken. Control your reaction and you've already won.
3. Pride.
And if it's not anger, it's pride. Pride blinds more men than alcohol ever has. You chase status, appearances, and cheap validation, but none of it holds when life punches you in the mouth. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." Hard truth. Pride wants applause. Growth demands humility. You can't fill your hands with wisdom if they're already clenching an image. Drop the act, and you start to live.
4. Laziness. Look around. Most men stop living long before they stop breathing. Don't let that be you. Laziness doesn't just waste your time, it rots your spirit. The Stoics taught discipline as daily training, not occasional bursts. You don't need a perfect morning routine, you need consistency. Show up, do the thing, then do it again tomorrow. That's how a man rebuilds himself, by stacking up days he can be proud of. 5. Fear. Fear whispers the same lie every day. Don't risk, don't try, stay safe. But every safe choice shrinks you a little more. Marcus Aurelius faced war, plague, betrayal, yet he wrote, "It's not death a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Fear will own you unless you learn to act in its presence. The courage isn't in feeling fearless, it's in moving forward, even when your knees are shaking. 6. Regret. And then there's regret. The past is the weight most men drag like chains behind them. A Stoic man learns from yesterday, but he doesn't live there. He shows up today, because today is the only ground he actually owns, and he uses it to build a better tomorrow. If you spend your life staring at closed doors, you'll never walk through the open ones in front of you. 7. Pain. Pain is the one battle no man escapes. But the Stoics flipped it. Pain isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof you're alive, proof you're being tested, proof you're in the fight. Carry it without whining and it becomes strength. Run from it and it becomes chains. The man who faces pain with steady eyes learns something most people never do, that pain can refine you more than comfort ever could. 8. Comparison. Right after pain comes comparison. Scroll long enough and you'll convince yourself you're behind in every area of life. But Marcus reminded himself daily, don't waste the rest of your life worrying about others. Comparison kills gratitude and makes you blind to your own ground. A Stoic doesn't measure himself against the noise. He measures himself against his duty, against what he said he would do today. 9. Ego. Ego is a silent killer. It's that voice that says, I already know enough. I don't need help. I don't need correction. The Stoics treated ego like poison because it shuts the door on growth. The moment you think you've arrived, you've already started to decay. A man anchored in Stoicism chooses to be a student forever, not because he's weak, but because staying teachable keeps him strong. 10. Pleasure. And then there's pleasure. Nothing wrong with enjoying life. The Stoics weren't monks starving in caves. But when pleasure owns you, discipline dies. Seneca warned that indulgence makes men soft, unable to endure hardship. Modern life is built on shortcuts, dopamine hits, and quick escapes. A Stoic man uses pleasure. He doesn't let pleasure use him. He chooses what strengthens, not just what numbs. 11. Control. Control is the great illusion. Most men waste their days trying to bend people and circumstances to their will. The Stoics flipped it. Control what is yours, your thoughts, your choices, your response, and let the rest go. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. That's the ground rule. Spend energy where it counts, stop bleeding it where it doesn't. 12. Death. And finally, death. The shadow every man avoids, but the one truth none can escape. The Stoics didn't fear it, they used it. Memento mori. Remember death, not to be morbid, but to live awake. Knowing the clock is ticking forces clarity, what actually matters and what's just noise. Most men live like they have forever. A Stoic lives like time is short because it is, and that urgency is what makes every day count.
You know what makes Stoicism different from all the other systems men try to live by? It's not about ideas. It's not about sounding smart. It's about how you stand when life pushes back. Not hiding behind walls, not pretending you're unshaken. It's about walking into the storm, knowing you can't control the wind, but you can control how you face it. That's not theory, that's survival, that's presence. I've had days where I thought I was finished. Not career finished, soul finished. The weight of bills, deadlines, and the silent question of what's the point almost broke me. And the truth? No quote, no speech, no motivational clip could pull me out. What saved me was something simple. One breath, one choice, one step. Not trying to conquer the whole world, just reclaiming the next minute. That's the ground Stoicism gives you. This moment, right here. Here's the first action. Start with silence. Before you answer, before you react, before you explode, breathe. One breath can stop 1,000 mistakes. Seneca said, anger is a kind of temporary madness. He was right. That breath, that's the break in the madness. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you unshakable. Second action, cut one chain. Pick one distraction, one useless habit, and put it down. Don't try to erase everything at once. Just cut one chain today. Turn off the notification, close the tab, skip the pointless argument. That's how a man starts winning, not in theory, but in real hours. You'll feel lighter, sharper, and less owned by the noise around you. Third action, show up for the day you actually own. Not yesterday, you can't fix it. Not tomorrow, it's not here yet. Just today, just this ground under your feet. A Stoic man learns from yesterday, but he doesn't live there. He plants his feet in today. That's how you stack up days you can be proud of. I'll tell you a story. There was a season where I worked like a machine, thinking success would buy me peace. But peace never came. The more I chased, the emptier I felt. One night I walked outside. No phone, no noise, just the air and the dark. For the first time in years, I stopped running. And I realized the peace I wanted wasn't out there. It had to be built in here. That's why Stoicism matters. It's not about shutting down emotions or pretending nothing hurts. It's about building an anchor inside you so when life shakes everything else, you're still steady. You don't have to escape life. You learn to carry it without folding. That's real strength. That's real freedom. So here's my closing thought. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to live up to someone else's picture of a man. Just aim to live one day you can stand behind. One day with discipline. One day with presence. One day with calm. Do that enough times and you'll look back and see you've built a life that's solid. And brother, you're not walking this road alone. That's why this channel exists, not as a stage, but as a fire where men can sit down together. If you want to keep walking this path of discipline, clarity, and strength, you're welcome here. Not because you've got it all together, but because you don't have to fight this fight alone. May you carry your day with strength, meet your trials with calm, and walk steady in the truth that can't be stolen. And may you never forget, you're not walking it alone.